That is fun, I ain't gonna lie. We're here on day 5 of our pond rehab, and we've made a lot of progress. But today what I want to get done is move this big pile. Actually, there's 2 big piles here in front of the skid steer and get them out of here. So it's Friday. We got the machine about 1 or 2 o'clock on Monday. So we put 16 hours in 5 days, and that doesn't sound like a lot, but it is, because you can't just sit in the machine 10 hours a day because there's other work to do, like excavator work. My excavator broke down, so I had to take time out for that, and our good friends from Paris Tractor sent out their mobile service technician and fixed that up. All that is covered in a previous video, but we do want to say thank you to Paris Tractor.
More than a tractor store.
So a big shout out to Paris Tractor and Paris Tractor Rentals, where you can rent an excavator, skid steer, mini skid steer, a tractor, implements, just about everything you need that you probably don't want to buy and have full time, but you might need for occasional projects. They rent it to you, they deliver it to you, and they'll also pick it up. But they're sponsoring our pond build, and they're also putting together my new tractor. They actually sent me a picture last night of it. I think it's done, but I'm just not ready for it. I've got 2 days left here before we get a really big rain event. And down there I said 5 days. This is the 5th day. So really we've only had 3 days on the machine and put 16 hours on it. And I think, in my opinion, for being a rookie, an amateur skid steer driver or user or operator, I think I got a lot done. I think that there's people out there that could probably do it faster and more efficient. I sometimes get off on a little tangent where I start working one area and I get bored with it, so I work another area. But the whole time I'm keeping the machine in the dirt. So I'm making progress. It's probably a little bit scattered though, the way I'm doing it. You can see how big those piles are in front of the skid steer. So there's kind of a light colored pile, and then behind it there's a darker colored pile. And they're gonna go over there by that culvert, and then over there by that culvert. And then everything that's white here is all sand, and I got to dig that out and then replace it. And what I'm replacing it with is this grayish sticky clay in the bottom. And I'm shaving off 2-inch layers at a time, getting buckets full, and this is what it looks like when it's spread. It spreads fairly easily, but then it packs really well. Like that looks like beat sand over there, but it's not. It is hard packed clay. The goal today is get all that dirt out, work on all of the sides, getting clay in all the sides and removing the sand. Then I have all day tomorrow, and then I also might try to close off the culverts with some plywood or something, just to minimize the amount of water that comes in here that I'll have to pump after Sunday, and then let the pond dry out until we can do the final coating and seal the bottom. Let's get in the skid steer, get some work done. I've been all over the place. I started over here like I said I was gonna do, and like I have been with this pond, I get a little bored with doing that. So then I go on a little adventure and I start working on another area, but I'm constantly keeping the machine in motion and moving dirt. It's just that I don't finish something, and I almost think it's better because the sun will dry it out. We're in the 70s today, and if I work it a little bit and get it kind of gooey and messed up, let the sun dry it and come back, it's a little bit easier to work. But I mentioned my original pond digger didn't do us any favors out here, and I'm going to show you exactly what I mean and how easily they could have made this pond be basically waterproof or watertight. Now when he was digging this, he said as he got towards this end, it got sandy. Well, here I am standing on some really good clay. It's sticky clay that stays together, and I don't think the pond leaked right here. I mean, it's not wet underneath. You'd think all that water would be down there somewhere. But right over here, not more than 30 feet away, this whole bank is nothing but sand. And this is what I'm working with. And, you know, I'm fixing it and it's fun and all that, but it's kind of frustrating because this pond could be producing fish already if they had just done what I'm doing now. which is I'm digging out all that sand over there and I'm putting it up top where grass and stuff can grow on it. I'll mix it with some clay, I'll put some compost in it, but there's no reason for this whole berm here to be sand. So I'm starting on that side. I'm digging that clay up right there, 30 feet away, dumping it here, packing it, and just working my way around. And I think, I know I've said this before, I guess I'm just expressing a little bit of frustration, is it's not that much more work. It's like probably at the time with the big equipment they had here, the bulldozer and the big excavator, it might have been not even a day to do it right. So if you're getting a pond dug, if you've been watching this series and trying to see how we're going to fix our pond, hopefully, you know, you're getting something out of it, even if you don't do it yourself. And I think you can do it yourself. I mean, when he dug this, he had to have like 4 or 5 dump trucks here, and he filled all those dump trucks, and they had to cart the dirt away. I think that's the hardest part. The digging isn't that hard, because once you've digged it, then you can shape it with rental equipment. It's the moving of the dirt. So he did that. That was huge. But this part here, I am not a professional. I'm not a professional pond builder. I'm not a professional dirt mover. If you can operate a tractor, you can dig a pond. I'm convinced of it. I don't want to go into pond building business. I don't want to be a pond building consultant. But I think with just a little bit of education, you could come in here and assess this clay. A little bit of experience, I think. Assess this and go, this won't hold water. And I think if you're in the business of excavating and building ponds, you should at least have that basic knowledge. And enough belly aching about it. I'm having fun. I'm going to scoop this ridge of clay right here, fill that in, just keep working it. So with just that clay right there, I filled this in. And it's hard to see in the time lapse, but once you get a good clay in here, you can climb this bank. You can't do it in sand, you can't do it in the mud or that muck that I pulled out of here, but when you put decent clay in here, you can climb up the bank because it can get traction. So I've been dumping this for days up here and I couldn't do anything with it. Well, I decided to come down this hill. I'm 6 foot. So that's 12 foot at least to where the skid steer is. So when I came over that hill pushing, I just let her come on down because the machine is so capable and so sturdy. I know it's not going to tip over, and all it's going to do is just push things ahead of it. So I'm going to do it again here. I got the camera set up to catch it a little better. It's like being on a roller coaster. So yeah, I was just pushing like this. That one looks a little more sketchy. Let's push a little dirt first to kind of fill it in. That should do it. It'll push ahead of the body of the skid steer here. So I keep my bucket down low, and then I just did this. It may be work, but it's also fun as well. It won't climb it because it's too muddy. A lot of that stuff that I pushed down is wet stuff. It just hadn't had a chance to dry. It's actually what came out of the side here where this ramp is. Whee! That is fun, I ain't gonna lie. Figured out why the machine was losing power. It's always the simple things, but you can see the dirt here and the dirt here and the dirt here. When I raise this, sometimes it comes in the cab, and it was getting pretty deep in here. But what it was doing that I couldn't see is it was packing. See the thing that's turning right there? It was packing around there because I was like, well, it's clear under here. I can push the pedal down. Well, it was getting under that little lever right there, and I could only get about 1400 RPMs out of it, and now she'll go 2400. So there you go. You got to maintain your machines, even if it's as simple as just cleaning the dirt out of the floorboards. I've stripped all the sand away off of this edge, but what I'm going to do for an extra insurance policy is I'm going to put some Dammit up here. Now Dammit is a polymer. We bought enough to treat the whole pond, but on that day it was real windy and it got frustrating, and we only treated this half of the pond, and I think it helped a little. But if you have multiple leaks or your pond is leaking really bad, then Dammit probably isn't the solution, but it is an extra insurance policy because I'm going to use the bentonite like we talked about multiple times in the video, but this can also be used for pond building, just like we're doing here. So it's DAMIT. It's fairly expensive. I remember 10 pails of it. I think we paid like $1,200, and I've got like half of the pails left. But it's a white powder, and it swells to 300 times its size. And this one bucket will do about 1,500 square feet. So I got like 20 by 30. I guess I got 500 square feet here. And it goes on as simple as this. And what I'm trying to do is just put an extra layer of protection. I've got this stuff. You can put it on top of the water and it'll sink down and seal holes. And it's effective. I wouldn't say it's going to work in every situation, and the company will say that, you know, is that it's a good solution for most ponds that might have a leak, but it's not a solution for every pond because every pond is different. But I'm going to be generous with it just because there's no sense in saving it, and this is the last time that this pond is going to be dug out, at least while we own the property. So if I just put this in here fairly thick and put my clay on top of it, that'll just seep down into any cracks and crevices that are down there. But it's safe for your fish. It won't safe for your frogs, safe for all your aquatic animals. Now we'll say if you put it on thick on the top like we did, that it becomes like this gooey, I won't even call it gooey, I'll call it slimy. This slimy layer, film I'll call it, on top of your pond. And we had a pretty big frog kill from it just because they got caught in the slime, not because it was toxic to them or anything like that. Based on my memory of putting this out in the little boat with Deb, this is a lot less frustrating, a lot more fun, a lot more satisfying. And I feel like it actually has a chance to work here. Doesn't look like much, but imagine if it swells 300 times the size. This pail treats up to 1,600 square feet, up to 300% expansion. So 3 times the size, I guess, not 300 times. So instead of 5-gallon buckets, I guess it would be 15-gallon bucket worth. And when we get to the bentonite, you can also do this is strip away the dirt, put down a bentonite layer, and pack it in, and then put dirt over top of it. Now we're going to mix our bentonite, but this method that I'm doing here, you could also do with our final fix at the pond. I think we're going to do that all down the sides that are sandy. This thing has been really good on fuel. I filled it once. I came with a full tank. I filled it once, and now it's like just around 1/4 or less. And I don't want it to run out, and I only got a few more hours, so rather than bringing my remote tank down here, I'm gonna just fill it with a 5-gallon bucket. I can't even talk, I'm tired. 5-gallon fuel tank. I'm excited. I've been getting so much done, and now it's like everything you do is real close to that final product, so it's a lot more exciting than a lot of the dirt movement I was doing earlier. I got that corner squared away underneath that Dammit, and now I'm putting dirt up on the top to get rid of these piles. I know I started the video saying we're going to have all these piles done by nightfall. I think we will, but I get a little sidetracked sometimes, and as I go and clear those piles, there's a lot of good clay under it, and I keep pushing that clay to where that needs to be. I don't know how big the tank is, but I think it's 25 or 30 gallons. So 5 gallons will give me plenty. Get me through till nightfall. If I have to, I'll work by headlights for a little while. I want to go to bed tonight with knowing that tomorrow I can finish as far as shaping. I think this is so cool to have this hyson down here in the bottom of the pond. All right, let's climb this hill. All right, guys, remember in the beginning of the video, I said I'd get rid of this pile. Well, I didn't, but I also said I'd get rid of this pile, and I did. And look, I am standing on almost a 2 feet high section of really good clay because I've been scraping the clay to line the banks, and it makes me feel good because I have plenty of clay here to do the bank there by the camera and also over there at the other catfish hole. So we're gonna clean this up right here. This is the last of the muck from that pile. I've been scraping it, but the sun is set. It's getting dark. I want to get a little bit more done, but we appreciate you guys watching. Remember, we have a video for every aspect of this pond going back several years. It's in the pond playlist down below. And also there is a video from every day of progress on this renovation. So check those out and you can see how far we've come with this pond. And also check out Paris Tractors, because without their support, we just wouldn't have been able to do this. Y'all be good out there. We'll catch you on the next one. Remember, life's short, tractor hard. Top of the world, baby.